Right, so just to confirm everything that we've seen there today, these are the Premiership results. You can see the games postponed for yourselves, so let's not mention those. Arsenal 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Chelsea 4. That's 3 wins in a row for them. Everton 2. Manchester City were 2-0 up against Ipswich, but that was abandoned after 39 minutes. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Tottenham 0, West Ham United 0, Sheffield United 0. So the table after today's action, bearing in mind that there's still one to come. That's from Highfield Road. Coventry against Swindon, who are bottom there, and we're going to see it live on the Monday Night Football. It's Swindon, Southampton and Oldham in the bottom 3. Then Manchester City, couldn't they have done with a win today? Sheffield United and Chelsea, who are on a bit of a roll again now. Everton, Wimbledon, Ipswich, Coventry and Tottenham. Coventry with 3 games in hand there on Tottenham. They'll leapfrog them if they win tonight. West Ham, Villa, Queen's Park Rangers, Liverpool, Norwich. Sheffield Wednesday 6th now. Newcastle, Leeds, Arsenal 3rd, Blackburn Rovers and Manchester United. That's how the top half of the table looks. Plenty of other action elsewhere today. Let's have a look through Division 1. Birmingham 1, Oxford 1, Charlton 2. Well, Bristol City 0, Stoke 0. Shouldn't miss that, should I? Charlton 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. That win takes Charlton into 3rd place, a point behind the leaders Palace. Their game was postponed today. Derby 4, Tranmere 0. A hat-trick there for Marco Gabbiadini. Middlesbrough 1, Grimsby 0. Notts County 2, Southend 1. Sunderland 1, Barnsley 0. Phil Gray with the winner. Watford 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Colin Cooper scored at both ends in that match. Scott Gemmell got the winner. Wolves 1, Bolton 0. Robbie Dennison scoring the only goal in that game. Division 2, Blackpool 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Brentford 1, Stockport 1, Cambridge 3, Fulham 0, Huddersfield 1, Bournemouth 1, Hull City 1, Burnley 2, Plymouth 1, Brighton 1, Reading 2, York 1, so Reading stretched their lead at the top, back to 6 points over Plymouth. Rotherham 5, Cardiff 2, Wrexham 4, Leyton Orient 2. Division 3, Carlisle United 1, Torquay 1, Doncaster 0, Gillingham 0, Mansfield 1, Chesterfield 2. The bottom club Northampton held the leaders' crew, 2 apiece. Scarborough 3, Darlington 0, Scunthorpe 5, Walsall 0, Shrewsbury 2, Colchester 1, Wycombe Wanderers 3, Hereford United 2. Scottish results, Scottish Premier, Kilmarnock and Dundee was off. Division 1, St Mirren 3, Falkirk 1. And the only game in Division 2 was also called off, Cowdenbeath and Forfar. No football from Elland Road tonight. The game between Leeds United and Aston Villa was a casualty of the weather, but Coventry and Swindon is on. Our match commentators are here at Elland Road. Andy Gray and Ian Dark, who have got a job and a half on tonight. Good evening, both.
Yes, good evening to you, Richard. I guess it beats being sent to Coventry, doesn't it, Andy?
This is not new to me, though, Ian. I remember we had to do an FA Cup tie, Martin Tyler and I, from an empty Nottingham Forest stadium a couple of years ago. So it's not new to me, but what about you?
Well, I think I've had to do an Argentina game from Buenos Aires in the middle of the night. So, I don't know, it's the theatre of the absurd, really, to start the new year. But I reckon we might have a pretty good game down there at Highfield Road to work on.
I think so. Phil Neal looks to have got Coventry playing the type of football that we all like to see. They're passing the ball about. They're winning matches. 2 recent wins, both in London, of course, at Wimbledon and Spurs. And of course, John Gorman has got Swindon actually winning a game or 2 recently. And I think 2 footballing sides at the moment. And providing the conditions are a little bit better than we have here at Elland Road, I think it'll be very entertaining.
It's amazing, you know, this Swindon defensive record. They've got the worst record of all 4 divisions. 53 goals conceded already. They've got to stop that, haven't they?
They've got to stop it, but I hope not tonight. I'd like to see a few goals tonight.
Let's have a look at the 2 sides for you. We've received them by remote control, and Coventry keep the side that scored an impressive 2-1 victory at Spurs on Saturday. The man of the match there was Chris Marsden, who's moved from Huddersfield, should soon be made permanent. Mick Quinn, who's had a few injury problems lately, still can't force his way in, so John Williams and Roy Wegley playing up front.
Yeah, Phil Neal will, I assume, keep the same formation that's been successful to him recently, and the one that was successful against Tottenham, and that's a 4-4-2 formation. Obviously, the threat and pace of John Williams will be there for all to see, and the craft of Roy Wegley.
As for Swindon Town, they've conceded 10 goals over the holiday period. They do make a change, not in defence though. Keith Scott, the £300,000 striker from Wycombe Wanderers, drops to the subs bench. Paul Bodin comes back on the left of midfield. Craig Maskell will be playing as an out-and-out striker.
Yeah, that's the only change. At the beginning of the season, Swindon Town would be 3 at the back, 5 defenders sort of if they wanted, but I think John Gomez thinking with it now, more or less a flat back 4 now, I think. Summerby and Bodin both wide on either side. Paul Bodin, he'll be delighted that he's back now in the starting lineup. Goals already from that area, and Andy Much as well has been scoring goals, so that's a pretty confident looking Swindon side.
So that's the way that the two teams will line up tonight.
Not the circumstances we expected. No football from Elland Road tonight. We're going to Coventry live, and we're very grateful to some of the best technical staff in British television for making it happen for us. It's Coventry City and Swindon Town coming up live from Highfield Road. Our game at Elland Road, as I've said a couple of times, was postponed earlier on, but very much looking forward to a trip to Coventry, me in particular. Welcome back to the Monday Night Football. If you've just joined us, let me explain what's happening tonight. We lost our game at Elland Road between Leeds United and Aston Villa. That went down at 5:10. We dispatched then a small team of technicians to Coventry. They really have worked wonders for us. As you can see, we've got live pictures here from Highfield Road. Our live match tonight is Coventry City against Swindon Town, and it's a big one, Terry Yarrow, too, isn't it?
Well, it's a big game for Swindon. You know, Swindon have got to get results, and quickly. I don't know if they'll get them tonight, because Coventry are going well at the moment. Phil Neal seems to have turned things around there, and they've got plenty of pace in their team, and I don't think that Swindon will be able to cope with that.
Of course, it's a team, as I mentioned right at the top of the programme, Peter, that you very nearly had links with, Swindon Town. You were in the running for the job there for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right. I was assistant manager at Huddersfield Town, and they approached Huddersfield, and I had an interview, sat on the board, sat and had an interview with about, I think it was 11 on the board that interviewed me. But in the end, they give it to Ozzy Ardiles because he could speak better English than me.
That's a fair point. OK, limited coverage from Highfield Road. This won't be the best that we've produced for you, but we do have live football, which is really good news. It's Coventry City against Swindon Town. Our match commentators are Andy Gray and Ian Dark.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. 109 live games Sky Sports brought you in 1993. Here comes the first, in rather unusual circumstances, as Richard's been explaining, of 1994. Coventry against Swindon Town. And say what you like about Swindon, they might have been bottom all season, but they've really produced some entertainment in this Premiership this season, Andy.
Yes, they have. I think that, in all honesty, though, Ian, John Gorman has tinkered with the entertainment factor. He's wanted his team to become a bit more physical, a bit tougher to beat. And I think that's probably the reason why results are slowly turning for them.
Be interesting to see Phil Neal's new look Coventry City as well. The word is that they're playing the passing game a wee bit more, and they were very impressive by all accounts at White Hart Lane against Spurs on Saturday. That's Craig Maskell, the number 11 for Swindon, who's about to kick off. He's had his problems this season, but he's in the side for the moment, and he got a couple at Sheffield Wednesday the other day in a 3-3 draw. Swindon have been putting up some more useful performances away from home. Remember, they nearly won at Liverpool. Here's Horlock to take the throw for them. Former West Ham player who never made the breakthrough there, but now regular in the Swindon side, and Paul Bodin getting it down the line, and Atherton getting it back. As you can see, there's been a fair bit of rain in the Midlands as well, though not too much threat that the game would ever not take place. Taylor's headed clearance. That was Marsden getting his first touch for Coventry. Now Burrows. That's Morgan. Now Peter and Love. Look forward to seeing his trickery. Morgan again. It's a difficult surface, obviously, Andy.
Yeah, but it's a lot better than the one at Elland Road, Ian. At least you see the ball, and players at least can slick the ball across the ground whenever they want to. And the ball doesn't seem to be holding up in any water, surface water, and that's important for tonight with two teams, certainly Swindon, who like to push the ball around. But it's a bright opening. Certainly Coventry looking to push it about, going to get men forward.
Coventry, of course, one of those sides who every season people tip them for relegation, but year after year after year, they stay up, and at the moment they're looking quite comfortable. That was Julian Darby trying to make the breakthrough, a young player who arrived from Bolton and scored 2 goals at West Ham.
I think a free kick's been given there, Ian, as well. Looked a little bit offside, but obviously the referee decided a free kick was the first offence against Julian Darby.
Marsden stepping over it. He had a great game apparently at Spurs at the weekend. Burrows with the free kick for Coventry City. Swindon, who really do need to tighten up in defence if they're going to stay in the top flight. This is Andy Much. The goalkeeper is Nicky Hammond. This is his second start after the dislocated shoulder suffered by Fraser Digby. Came on as sub at Sheffield Wednesday. That's a mistake by Martin Ling, and it enables Unlove to run at that Swindon defence. Inside to Marsden. Now here's Morgan. Interesting looking cross, and Hammond did his stuff well there under some pressure.
Good catch. First couple of minutes, you'll be delighted with that, the goalkeeper. It was there to be taken. You take them and your confidence grows. You drop it and it can be a nightmare for you. He took it very cleanly, Nicky Hammond.
This is Taylor. Horlock under a bit of pressure here. And it's going to be a Coventry City throw, I think. Bodin does not agree with the decision. Burrows takes it quickly. So Horlock with the throw for Swindon. Bodin getting it back to him. Paul Bodin, of course, who had that nightmare in the Welsh World Cup match when he missed the penalty kick, and all credit to him. He had the character to take one the very next Saturday and score an equaliser against Ipswich. That's Summerby's ball down the line towards Maskell. Now, Morgan for Coventry City. Moncur with the challenge. He's the Swindon playmaker. He's earned 1 or 2 rave reviews as well this season for his playmaking in that central midfield role. And here he is again. Nicely balanced player. Good vision as well. This is Moncur. Horlock. Swindon anxious as ever to play their passing game. They don't sacrifice those principles. Nicky Summerby. Good run from Summerby. And in the end, crowded out by Babb and Morgan between them.
That was all it was. Too many blue shirts around Nicky Summerby. But John Gorman's tinkered with his formation again here tonight, and I just noticed that Terry Fenwick, who we expected to be playing it right back, has got himself in a position. You see the 26 there. He's just been tucked in front of the centre-backs, and Nicky Summerby's been started as a more orthodox right Nicky Summerby. I just wonder if John Gorman's decided to push a few men forward and just use Terry Fenwick in front of his centre-backs as a little bit of protection.
It's Maskell. Nodded down by Bodin. And nobody to take advantage. Whitbread, the former Leyton Orient defender who arrived for £500,000 with the no-nonsense defending.
Well, that's the word that John Gorman needs when he talks to his defenders, his lads. No nonsense. Because they've been too easy to play against since they came into this top division. And it's something they've had to address very quickly.
The word that keeps recurring, and John Gorman won't thank us for mentioning it, is naive about their defending.
I think John will be honest enough to admit that that's true.
Burrows played long towards John Williams, and this is falling down to Wiggly, and Swindon get away with it.
You see there Nicky Summerby, who's got a tendency to be pushing forward, was the full-back. She's way out of position there, and a better touch from Roy Wegerle would surely have given them the opportunity for a strike-out goal.
So it's going to be Wegley who takes the corner. Oh, and a chance arriving there. Babb arriving on the near post.
Well, that was almost a carbon copy of his goal against Tottenham at the weekend. A corner from that side, drifted in near post, and Babb met it and planted it into the net. That time a deflection saved Swindon.
The danger's not over yet. Now it might be. Martin Ling. Pretty much. Good touch from him. That's a useful covering from Steve Morgan, who is a robust and very enthusiastic character, even in training by all accounts, from Highfield Road. Moncur again.
Fennick in that position there, Ian, ahead of his two centre-backs, and not at right-back as he has been deployed recently. And that's a little change in tonight's formation.
I think his manager, John Gorman, wasn't best pleased with him last week when Swindon, against instructions from their manager, played an offside trap against Arsenal and lost 4-0 at home. And Fennick, I think, got a bit of a roasting for that. He's one of the instigators. This is Marsden. Burrows with the long-range effort. Oh, and he cracks it against the bar. So nearly for Coventry. Wow, what a cracker that would have been for Brian Burrows.
Would have been, but we can still admire the quality of his strike. He has to call. Marsden sets the ball across, and Burrows makes everybody's mind up. That's mine, he says. You can't hit them much better than that. And had it been on target, I don't think there's an awful lot Nicky Hammond could have done about it. Wonderful strike.
Real howitzer from Brian Burrows. Swindon survive. They've already let in 4 against Arsenal, 3 against Sheffield Wednesday, and 3 against their old bosses team, Glenn Hoddle, Chelsea.
First meeting between these two this season, isn't it? I think. I don't think Coventry and Swindon have met each other yet. I think this is the first meeting.
It is indeed. It's the first meeting for 28 years, in fact, between them. So that's a pretty good shout. The last time they met was in the old Division 2.
So we can't draw anything from recent form against each other then, no?
Well, you can if you want. There's John Williams, who made all those headlines by winning the Rumbelow Sprint Challenge. Remember that at Wembley a couple of seasons back. Quick over 100 metres. Hammond launching it downfield for Swindon. Five draws and 6 defeats on their travels so far for Swindon Town. Well, tonight, you may well have been aware we were due to be covering Leeds United against Aston Villa live from Ellen Road. That game postponed, so we're bringing you this coverage live from Highfield Road instead. And all the stops have been pulled out, I can assure you, behind the scenes to give you these pictures you're watching. Some motorway heroics. Fennick. And an offside against Much, I think it was.
It'd be interesting to know, Ian, at some time why Keith Scott's been left out, the recent signing from Wickham, who's certainly scored enough goals since he's been brought to Swindon. I just wonder if he's carrying some sort of injury. Notice he's on the substitutes bench, and I can only think he must be carrying a little injury, or I can't think why John Gorman would have left him out tonight.
Well, he's got 4 goals in 10 games since he arrived, so it would figure that he maybe is just carrying a little bit of a knock. We might see him later on. That's Summerby's ball forward. Atherton gets it away for Coventry City. Babb, who is occupying that central defensive role now. He arrived as a left-back when he first came to Coventry, but has been pretty good alongside Atherton in the middle of the defence. There's Flynn. Now Williams. And Swindon trying to build. And you see some of their work in the middle third. They look nothing like a bottom-of-the-table side, Swindon Town. It's in the defensive third that all their problems exist. And Coventry trying to cause a few more there, but cut out this time. Now Terry Fennick. That interesting role that Andy's been outlining for you. Ling trying to measure this one. Well, here's a chance for Williams to use his pace against Horlock. He's got there as well. He is quick. Flynn's cross is blocked. A confident look about Coventry City. Marsden playing that one forward. Here's Burrows again. Now Flynn.
It's the patience there that is new to the side as well for me in this opening 10 minutes of the game. Phil Neal obviously trying to get his players to be patient with the ball. If you have to take another pass, then take another pass. Don't just aimlessly play it forward. But I do think that with John Williams in the side up front, it is important that when a team comes to play, you do turn the back four early on in the game and you let John Williams test him with his pace.
Well, Phil Neal has been saying, the manager, that one difference that he's made since he took over as the #1 is all their work in training is done with footballs.
And shouldn't that always be the case?
Well, you'd have thought so, wouldn't you? But it's maybe showing on the pitch. They've got a confident look about them, and Derby and Marsden, two recent arrivals, have made a bit of a difference as well. Atherton. Back to a now 36-year-old Steve Ogrizovic. Confident enough, wasn't it?
Certainly was. They do say defenders shouldn't go across their own 18-yard box when they're as deep as that. But Phil Babb, I think, just giving us a little example of how high they are in confidence at the moment. I think, to be fair, though, Swindon are a good team to play against if you want to pass the ball about. They do allow you that.
This is Ling. Now Paul Bowden, who set up a goal, the only goal Swindon got against Chelsea at the weekend. Andy Much, who scored it. His cross blocked down, and now Ling. Now here's Williams for Coventry. Roy Wegerle. And Morgan to Unlove. Here's Marsden. He's got that nice sweep left foot. Looks very composed in that central midfield role, Marsden. Away by Taylor. Martin Ling, who's been watched by a number of other clubs, including Spurs. His old boss, Ozzy Ardiles, having a look at him. But he's on a new 3-year contract this season at Swindon. Cut out by Much. Coventry, who've had home wins here against Newcastle, Liverpool, Everton and Arsenal. Not bad scalps. Ooh, and the cracking shot from Unlove, and the goalkeeper did well, got his fingertips to it, Nicky Hammond.
Was a good save. Lovely crossover between Unlove and Wegerle. Just creates a little bit of space, and Nicky Hammond certainly, in my thought, got a hand to that. Well struck. That's two excellent shots. One from Burrows, one from Unlove.
Third corner taken by Wegerle, and Hammond at the second attempt. That'll boost the goalkeeper's confidence, that save.
Started well. I mean, the catch would have given them confidence the first couple of minutes, Ian. But that save from that Unlove shot will only have built that confidence. I'll tell you, conditions that look good, they really do. The amount of rain that's fallen all over the country today. The Highfield Road pitch looks as if it's drained very well indeed.
Moncur. This is Fennick. 34 years of age now, and now Nicky Summerby, who habitually occupies that right-hand touchline. Inside again to Moncur. Coventry, in the shape of Atherton, had read that one, though. And here's another ball to let Williams get those jet heels into propulsion once again.
That's what I mean. In those situations when John Williams has got his defenders just 10 yards in their own half, the only thing I'd be looking for if I was him was a ball over the top to get after it.
Horlock. Well, Coventry have had the best of it so far, but at the moment Swindon will be grateful that they're keeping a clean sheet for the moment, though Brian Burrows has wrapped their crossbar and hit it so hard it must have nearly broken it. Summerby to Moncur, who was unaware that Williams was around. Marston picks it up. Morgan's cross is falling behind.
Not a good cross. Good in love with the one who got himself spare on the left, and really when he had time he should have been delivering a better ball than that. But that's good tackling back from John Williams. Good to see that in a front man. Look at the time he's got in love. He's better than that.
Peter Unlove, of course, rumours of his impending departure were one of the main reasons why Bobby Gould resigned as manager at Coventry City, but Unlove is still there for Phil Neal.
Unlucky.
Summerby. And offside against Maskell.
That must have been tight. Not a lot in that.
Craig Maskell, Swindon's top scorer last season in their promotion campaign when they had that dramatic win in the playoff.
Great skill from Roy Wiggler there. Brilliant feet.
This is Morgan. Cut out by Ling. And then Moncur asked an awful lot of Maskell, too much in fact. Now Fenwick. Nice passing by Swindon, but where's it going? It's going out here to Kevin Horlock. Watch him if he gets in shooting range, by the way. Horlock, the left back, has got a great left foot. Summerby, blocked by Marsden. Now here is Unlove. These pictures coming to you live from Highfield Road. Coventry City against Swindon, a change from our advertised match, which was to have been Leeds United against Aston Villa from Ellen Road, but the pitch is waterlogged. The game was postponed at 5:10. Atherton getting that back to Ogrizovic, and that's cool play between them in the Coventry defence.
We started to mix it up a bit better, Swindon. I thought they were overplaying slightly earlier in the game, but just in the last couple of attacks they've had a few passes and then they've looked to get it forward to the front two, and they've mixed it up a little bit better.
Now here's Wegerle. Lovely close control. Look at that from Wegerle. Beautiful stuff. Summerby dispossesses him, but the artistry is easy on the eye.
Good defending. That's the importance there, Nicky. Summerby sure to keep an eye on the ball.
Now here's Paul Bodin with a chance, and Ogrizovic was out. He just had to chip him. I say just had to chip him. It's no easy job, but that was a real chance, Andy.
That's a glorious opportunity. I thought he chose the wrong option, Paul Bodin, and I know it's easy for us to say that, but it is a difficult skill when the ball's running away from you to actually get the necessary check on it to chip someone, especially in conditions that we have tonight. You see us run away, it's difficult to dig it out of there, and I think just sliding it down the side of him would have been more profitable to Paul Bodin, who has really got an eye for goal this season.
Well, he's kicking himself there, Paul Bodin. As Andy was saying, he has had some goals this season, 5 to be exact, but 4 of them have been from the spot. And how Wales wish that one of those from the spot had been in that game against Romania.
That was another example of the move of them mixing it up a little bit, Ian. A few passes in, and when the time was right, they released Bodin with a longer pass.
Bodin flicks this one on. Here's Much trying to take on the Coventry defenders, 2 of them for company. Andy Much, who had that famous partnership, of course, at Wolves with Steve Bull for so long.
Many actually thought that the better player was Andy Much, and they wondered how they would play when the partnership split up. Needless to say, Bullies continued to score goals.
Now, here is Much. I thought for a moment there the slightly watery nature of the pitch was going to help keep that in play, but no. Scored in the last 2 games, Andy Much, against Sheffield Wednesday and Chelsea. So he's on a bit of a roll at the moment.
He's taking a nasty whack there. It's a very committed challenge. I think it's Whitbread who's down.
It's Sean Taylor, I think,
Taylor?
Andy. Yeah, the
Thanks,
skipper.
Andy. But Flynn and him were very committed in the challenge. You see it there. Taylor comes right through looking for the ball there. Both miss it. They connect with each other.
Yes, he's got a swelling underneath the left eye. The old smelling salts are going in.
Centre-back should get a few of those every now and again, you know. Challenging like they have to. Notice the old gum shield goes back in. I think more and more players are actually doing that these days, and actually wearing gum shields to protect that facial area of the mouth round about there.
You never bothered with anything like that, though, did you?
Nah. No brains, that's what you see.
Now, Coventry, and there's an offside flag up. Babbitt come forward on that far side, and a still rather groggy Sean Taylor, Swindon skipper, who was among their scorers in that now legendary playoff final against Leicester City, which ended 4-3. In fact, Taylor got 12 goals last year from centre-back. 2 this year so far. Coventry 0, Swindon 0, just past the halfway point in the first half. Live pictures from Highfield Road.
I think you see the appeal there of that ball played through over the top, Ian, with his soggy conditions. If anything that is knocked over, there is a chance it's going to die in this sort of boggy conditions that we have, and certainly should encourage strikers. Anything over the top, don't give it up. Be encouraged to go after it in the hope that it might just hold up.
This is Whitbread. Towards Much. Moncur with the volley. Good idea.
That was there to be hit, wasn't it, to be fair to John Moncur? Dropped nicely on his chest. His control was decent. Controlled it onto his right foot, but didn't really control the volley as well as he would have liked.
A lot of people... Sorry, Andy.
Sorry, I was just thinking, I get a feeling that Swindon are growing in confidence somewhat.
Flynn inside to Derby, and then Burrows aimed once again for Williams. Taylor beats him in the air. Oh, Moncur and Whitbread getting in a right old mix-up. Here is Marsden picking it up for Coventry. Now what's going to become of this? Steve Morgan cut out by Whitbread and Love, and is that a penalty for Whitbread's challenge? It is not.
I think he made a lot of it, Peter Inlove, for me.
And now Swindon can counter. Maskell is on his favoured left foot, and the corner kick is conceded.
Well, here we can see this incident. Whitbread is involved. He goes into the tackle, doesn't get an awful lot, but I think that Peter Inlove makes an awful lot of that. It's a difficult one for the referee.
Brian Hill, former cup final referee, says no spot kick. Swindon have a corner, their first, taken by Bodin. Headed back in by Much, and there was a spot of pushing being done by him.
Well, he doesn't agree with it.
But he wouldn't, would he? Coventry, of course, who started the season with that sensational 3-0 win at Arsenal when Mickey Quinn got a hat-trick. And Quinn on the bench again, as he has been in recent matches. Has got this Achilles tendon problem there at the moment. Now here's Moncur, and once again getting a bit of a mix-up, this time with Fennick. Wegerle. And Love trying to use his pace. This is the improved Chris Marsden. Here he is again. Spent a long time at Huddersfield, having been given a free by Sheffield United in 1988. And he's on loan at the moment, though Coventry expect to make his signing permanent sometime this week. That's the word, anyway, from Highfield Road. We'll see.
Good skill again, though, from Roy Wegley, wasn't it? Cheeky back heel to send Marsden free on that left side. Beauty of someone like him, isn't it, in your team in a tight game? You feel it's going to be a tight game. You know that any minute Wegley can produce that piece of magic.
Horlock trying to rampage his way through, and it took 3 of them to stop him. Burrows in the end. Now here's Love taking on Summerby, getting past Summerby and hitting the turf. Not for the first time in recent moments. Now is Summerby going to go in the book for that? He's getting a talking to from Brian Hill.
Well, that's it. This is definitely a free kick. Love reaches the ball first and he's away. But then the hook, up comes the left leg, takes the legs of Love. Not sure how much intent was actually in that, whether it was just a trailing leg from Summerby that caught Peter Love. But he certainly was away and running there.
Morgan with the free kick then for Coventry City. Away by Taylor, not very far though. Wegley. Oh, impudent stuff. Williams, though, must be offside and is.
Got a little bit impatient there, John Williams, that's all.
Now, that was interesting there. He hit the ball in the net, and this is a bit of the Les Ferdinand incident, isn't it?
Look at the skill from Wegley, though. I said he's always likely to produce the unexpected, and he certainly did there. How do you interpret it? Is he kicking the ball away? I mean...
Well, if you ask me, it would have been an absolute nonsense if he'd been booked in that situation.
There's been a few like that.
But there have been, yeah, it's a funny old rule, and perhaps the guidelines for it need to be a bit stricter and sorted out so everybody knows where they are with it. Suffice to say that Williams was not booked. He claimed he didn't hear, but so did Les Ferdinand in that game at Liverpool. Williams gets the better of Taylor, pulled back to the near post. Well done, Nicky Hammond. Here's Nicky Summerby, who was booked a few moments ago for that challenge on Unlove. Moncur to Bodin. Horlock. Just a bit tight in there on the muddy surface.
They've got plenty in there as well, haven't they? With Ling, Moncur and even Bodin in that central area. They're looking for Summerby and Horlock to provide the width on either side.
Just a reminder, our scheduled match, Leeds v Villa, postponed tonight. This is the replacement, live action nonetheless. Summerby with the cross for Swindon, Atherton with the headed clearance. And Summerby being booed with his every touch.
Been booed because he had another tackle on Peter Love, a totally fair one on the touchline a few minutes ago, and Love is just getting back onto the pitch now from it. And I think that's why the Coventry crowd are giving him a bit of the bird.
Bodin. Bodin was dropped for the game against Chelsea. Wasn't in the starting lineup, came on as sub in that game, and there's John Gorman. What agonies he's had to go through in his first season as Premiership manager, having taken over from the departed Glenn Hoddle. But will the story have a happy ending?
Only if they stay up.
You think they might, don't you?
I think they've got a chance. I think they're showing a determination and a grit about them now. You're always saying when you're down there it's all about battling and scrapping for every point. And I certainly think that that's been the difference since the beginning of the season to now. They look as if they're prepared to battle and scrap a little bit harder than I thought they probably were doing at the beginning of the season. And if you combine those qualities with the ability to play football, I think we all know they have that ability, then I think the chances are fairly good for them.
Burrows. Here's Flynn. Just wanted a bit too much time. Fennick did his job well there. Now here's Ling. Andy Much. Hard to play the slick passing game on this kind of surface, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, I think it's credit to the players who are prepared to do it, and I think that shows you what a good job that the ground staff at Highfield Road have done on the ground, have made of the ground today.
Yes, we must thank them, because they've given us a live football match to bring you tonight. Ling spreads it out to Horlock. Moncur. This is nice football by Swindon, but broken up in the end. Wegerle, the American international who will be gracing the World Cup stage. Morgan's overlapping run, but the cross is not what was required.
They've been let down by that part of the game at the moment, Coventry. The quality of the ball in from wide. They've had some promising positions develop either side, but really haven't produced crosses into the box of any great quality.
This is Marsden. Burrows. That's a foul by Derby, who hasn't really got into it too much in that midfield so far. A former Bolton player. Ling seems to be developing some better form, Martin Ling. He was struggling earlier on in the season and got left out for a little while, but he is a very good player. Well, Swindon will be happy that they've kept this a clean sheet so far, and of course they had that very good chance with Bodin themselves.
Oh, take that. Sean Flynn felt that one from Kevin Horlock, all right.
Williams, and note the whistle's gone. Swindon will have a free kick.
Yeah, just drifted offside, John Williams, and a little flick on from Flynn.
I saw some amazing statistic the other day, Andy. Apparently Swindon get nearly every goal in the second half of their matches. They've only got about 5, I think it is, in the first half of games in the Premiership this season. So maybe they'll draw some inspiration from that as Maskell crosses this one in. Morgan gets it away. This is Moncur. Horlock with the cross. Falls out to Maskell. Now here come Coventry. And Love trying to find a way through. Wegerle is wide. Summerby and Moncur there, back to Unlove again. And bent over the bar quite harmlessly by Sean Flynn in the end.
Well, the idea was good. He had the time, no one closed him down very quickly. He could look up, he could take aim, but really never troubled the goalkeeper at all.
Sean Flynn, one of quite a few players who seem to have graduated from Swindon Town into the league. Others are Frank Bennett of Southampton, Andy Pearce with Sheffield Wednesday. He, of course, was with Coventry as well. Here's Much. Cut out by Burrows. Burrows with the throw then for Coventry City to Chris Marsden. Caught from behind by Moncur. Inside the last 10 minutes of the first half, and Coventry still looking for the breakthrough.
Well, they're not going to get it either, Ian, if they don't attack. Free kicks put into that area. Certainly was in an area it was saying to players, go on, get in there and attack that ball.
Wegerle. And that bounces dangerously across goal. Nobody to apply the finishing touches. Sean Flynn. Julian Darby. And Bodin with his impudent little back heel. The whistle had gone anyway. Poor old Swindon have been rock bottom from the beginning of the season, and was just looking through a little playfully at the table earlier on. They'd need to win 17-0 tonight to come off the bottom and overtake Southampton.
There won't be many takers on that bet, will there?
Here's Morgan. He turned just as much was threatening.
Believe me, a 1-0 will be priceless for them tonight. That would feel like 17 for John Gorman's side.
Absolutely. Now here's Marsden. Wegerle. Now Unlove. Oh, now Ling's challenge was a little on the reckless side.
I think you summed it up perfectly. It was reckless.
And that's the second time the player has challenged Unlove a wee bit high, and I think, well, Andy.
He made no attempt to play the ball. It's as simple as that, Martin Ling. And if he's got away without a booking there, he's a very lucky man.
Marsden. Burrows. Away by Whitbread. Here's Phil Babb, the Coventry skipper. Been among the goals with 4 this year, even from his defensive role. Wegerle. Coventry looking to step up the tempo with half-time approaching. Marsden takes on Summerby, gets round Summerby. Ooh, and Hammond had to beat that away. I don't think that was what he was expecting, or anyone else.
Post, Ian. I think it's come off the post, but I think after doing such wonderful work, really Marsden should be looking to produce something from here. He's got time. Unlove pulls away out the 6-yard box for a cut back, and he just blasts that aimlessly towards the near post. It would have taken something special to have beaten the goalkeeper after such good work as well.
No corner. Good shout, Andy. It was off the post. Unlove again, and the crowd seem to come alight every time he gets the ball. Morgan. Marsden working the 1-2. Last 5 minutes of the first half at Highfield Road. Not very convincing defending that by Swindon, and Williams has a chance to get the cross in.
See, there's an opportunity for John Williams. A little bit quicker in the mind. He would assess the situation better and been able to get a cross in, but he took too long to make his mind up to deliver the cross and was crowded out.
Wegerle with the corner kick. Here he is again. Scorer in his time of some great individual goals. Burrows, and Love bringing it down. Coventry get the free kick, and Swindon are very angry indeed that that was given by Brian Hill.
I think they feel they just put him under a bit of pressure, and he collapsed. They felt there was a handball there from Unlove. But just here, I think the leg goes in. It's one of these you sometimes see given and sometimes not. It wouldn't surprise me if Wegerle gets himself round about this. Ian, he's looked as if he's wanted to get involved in most things.
Well, Morgan's there and Wegerle's there, and this is obviously one they've worked at on the training ground. Is it going to work? Look at this. Oh, well, Coventry have been famous for 1 or 2 free kicks in the past. Remember the Ernie Hunt one? Older viewers will remember from years gone by.
Which one was that?
Oh, well, you're not old enough, Andy. I am.
But then again, look at Roy Wegerle, thinking all the time, trying something different. Looks like he's playing with a confidence now since Phil Neal has taken the reins at Highfield Road. Whether he's given him a freedom to just go and express himself.
More live action for you tomorrow night, and what a game that is. From Anfield, Liverpool against the Premiership leaders Manchester United. I would certainly recommend being near your TV set for that one. Now here is Flynn. And Moncur with the challenge. The corner is given, and you can see just how committed Swindon are, just as Andy's been saying. They really are fighting and trying to quarry out every point now. Burrows. And on the turn, Derby.
Good strike, nothing wrong with it, apart from not being on target. But he had to take it quickly. Controlled it well. Fiercely played into him. And his touch was so good it allowed him to hit the shot immediately. I think Nicky Hammond will feel he had that covered.
£150,000 signing in October from Bolton Wanderers, Julian Derby. I think it was Phil Neal's first signing. There's the shot count so far. It's been mostly Coventry pressure. Craig Maskell among the strikers awaiting the free kick. Whitbread wide to Summerby, who's still getting the boos from the Coventry fans. We have elephantine memories, obviously. It was about 20 minutes ago, wasn't it, that foul that he's getting booed for. Marsden. And I think Wegerle had strayed into an offside position. And if you're late tuning in and you put your TV on expecting to see Leeds against Aston Villa, no, they haven't swapped colours or anything like that. This is Coventry City against Swindon Town. Leeds Villa postponed, pitch waterlogged. 0-0 so far at Highfield Road. Coventry have hit the bar. Bodin's missed a good chance for Swindon. Whitbread launches this one forward. It's cut out by Phil Babb.
Most of it's been long range, Ian, in the first half. The threat from both sides. Neither side's been able to get any real penetration in the 18-yard box and get an opportunity that would really test any goalkeeper. Most of the stuff the goalkeepers have had to deal with has been from long range. You've got to just get a little bit closer.
Ling with a nice fast feet, and out here to Summerby. Now, are we going to see one of his dazzling wing runs? We are. Look at this. Just like his dad, Nicky Summerby. Is he going to set up a goal maybe for Swindon Town? Well, Ling had made the run to the near post, and in the end, that dazzling work came to nothing.
Well, it was a run to admire. But I think he just got into a situation. He had so much time to think about the cross and so few options where to provide the cross into that he ends up hitting a Coventry defender. But a wonderful run nonetheless.
Swindon's corner. Now watch here for Sean Taylor, who scores a lot of goals with headers from the corners. He's the one attacking it. Oh, it's gone loose from Agrizovic. And in the end, it falls kindly for Coventry City, but there still could be problems. Here's Ling. Marsden closed him down well. And the whistle has gone to end A first half in which Brian Burrows came closest when he smacked the crossbar from, what, 25 yards. 0-0 at half-time. Analysis coming up from Terry Yorath and Peter with Richard Keys in the studio. And we'll have the whole of the second half live from Highfield Road.
Joey Bomofsky's a real tough cop, afraid of no one except his mom.
Go ahead. Make your bed.
Sylvester Stallone.
Put a machine gun off the back of a van?
Estelle Getty.
I'll be back.
In a high-level comedy.
I just want you to know that young man next to you is my son.
I thought I had things bad. Not close.
Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot. Premieres Sunday at 8 on Sky Movies.
So don't miss out. To subscribe to Sky's movie channels, call now on 0506 460000. That's 0506 460000.
Pulsar.
No, I've got...
Welcome back to the Monday Night Football. It's Coventry City against Swindon Town tonight. Not the match we were expecting. Our game at Elland Road between Leeds and Villa was called off earlier. 5:10 to be precise. 0-0 at half-time at Highfield Road. 7 shots from Coventry, 2 on target, 2 from Swindon, 1 on target. Coventry have forced more corners. Probably had the better possession as well in that first half. Without question, the 2 stars so far, Andy Gray and Ian Darke, who are with us here at Elland Road, watching the very same pictures as you and commentating from the televisions, which is not easily done. Our guests here tonight, Terry Yorath and Peter With. We're just pleased to see live football, Terry, aren't we?
Oh, it's fantastic. I think Sky have done a great job tonight. Getting the game on, because when I sat at home, was it last week or something, the game was postponed. I was so disappointed.
Yes, yes, us too. Yes, at Queen's Park Rangers.
I had to talk to the wife.
What do you think so far, then, Peter?
I thought Coventry have taken the game to them, to be fair. I can't really see... I can understand why Swindon haven't scored too many goals and why they've conceded a lot of goals, because basically they don't get enough bodies in the box. I mean, there's been 2 or 3 occasions where they're putting crosses in and they've only got 2 strikers. And my old mate, Mr Maskell, who I used to have at Huddersfield, is always likely to score goals but needs people to maybe help him out just a little bit.
Let's have a look at some of the best moments from that first half. What about the strike from Brian Burrows, which came thumping back off the bar? Did everything right here, didn't he, Terry?
Yeah, good little dummy, though. Just there, was it Derby left it? No, Flynn. Burrows strikes it very, very well. You know, that deserves to be a goal. Keeping everyone anywhere near it.
He was saying over.
Sure, yeah. No, I'll keep it.
Yeah.
Peter Undlove forced a very good save from that very same keeper as well, when he got away down the left-hand side, and there have been shades of the best of Undlove in this first 45, haven't there?
Yeah, he's played well. Yeah, you see the strike on goal. Good strike.
Good save.
Good save, yeah, excellent save.
He's one of them that, you know, you expect him to excite you all the time, don't you? He picks the ball up, runs at people. His penalty dive didn't do too much for it.
Well, we'll have a look at it in a moment, but first of all, Paul Bowden, who got away, somehow managed to find Steve Grizovic on the edge of his penalty box. Now, who was unlucky here?
I think if you see that, Paul's made a good run. He's tried the chip. Oggy's way out of position, really. Way out of position. He wouldn't say that. Now he's caught it. But that chip was probably as bad as his penalty the other week.
Oh, yeah, in the Welsh match, of course. Yes, yes. But there's a Grizovic there. He's in no man's land, isn't he?
Well, he wouldn't say that now, would he? He'd say, well, I must have been right. You know, I caught the ball. But it was a bad chip.
He is 6'3", though. I mean, trying to get the ball over the top of his head. I mean, in them conditions, really, you look to maybe play it to the side of him. I mean, it's all right sitting up here and we're watching the game, but you look in them conditions that if you play it close to his body, I mean, he is 6'3", so he's going to struggle to get down. He's got caught in no man's land. So, I mean, knock it close to his body, it goes in the back of the net. Probably stick on the line.
Let's have a look at that claim of Coventry's, if there was indeed a claim. Peter, you were fairly harsh a moment ago. Was this a penalty?
Well, I think, to be fair, I always look at the ball. Does the ball move? And to be fair, you're looking at it there, but I think the way that he dives, once your arms get thrown up like that, then you're never going to convince the referee that that is a penalty. But if you look at, I mean, he doesn't play the ball. I mean, when he plays here, he plays the man. I mean, he's touched the ball past him, so
I think if you look at the reactions with the number 2, look, he's looking around there, and he's closer than us, and I think he's saying to himself, well, that was a penalty, but don't give it, ref. Yeah, I thought that was a penalty.
Change your mind?
Well, no, I thought it was a penalty, but I think that if you're going to throw your hands up like that, then the referee is going to think he's looking for an Academy Award.
Okay. No goals at half-time at Coventry. Coventry City 0, Swindon Town 0. Our game was Leeds and Villa, but as I've said, if you've just joined us and you're wondering what's happening, that was called off earlier. So we're back to Highfield Road very shortly for the whole of the second half on the Monday Night Football.
So you want to know the secret of great tasting chicken?
What's that?
Well, I'll tell you.
All right.
We're talking herbs, we're talking spices, and for the famous original recipe, whipping around that roulette wheel of herbal possibility,
yeah?
How many do you think you need for that distinctively delicious taste?
Tell me.
Well, now you know.
All right.
Today's KFC, where great value never tasted so good.
Guten Tag, this is Woody Woody.
Good morning.
Better Trinker and Black Label.
Brewed at 4.1% for a fuller flavour. No wonder it's #1.
Turned out nice again.
After eating most meals and snacks, plaque pH can fall to levels where acid starts attacking teeth. These attacks can last for up to 2 hours, increasing the risk of tooth decay. That's when chewing can help, because when you chew for 20 minutes after eating, the chewing action produces more of your mouth's natural defense, saliva, which helps neutralize acid within minutes. So chew Orbit or Wrigley's Extra as part of your dental routine, because chewing helps nature fight plaque acid attack.
For more than a generation, people have trusted Panadol. Now there's new Panadol Ultra, a powerful pain reliever that helps combat pain like dental pain, a thumping headache, even migraine. Panadol Ultra helps take care of pain with 2 pain-relieving ingredients at the maximum level you can buy without prescription. Panadol, pain relief people trust.
Another look, Tony!
I should cocoa, Ralphie.
Oh, well, this is a hairy one.
What's she doing on the pitch, Ralph?
This must be the... Oh! No! The untraumatizing hit of real oranges in tango! No! Tony, hold my hand. Whoa!
He might need a new pair of corduroys after that, Ralph. Stonky.
You know when you've been tangoed.
In tomorrow's Mirror, book 1 week with Cosmos, Sunset or Go Greek, and we'll give you the next week free. Or 15% off holidays booked with other major tour operators. Get the Mirror tomorrow, or you might end up with only half a holiday. You'll be surprised when you look in the mirror.
You could have a big dipper going up and down all around the bends. You could have a bumper car bumping. There's amusement never ends. I wanna be your sledgehammer. Why don't you call my name?
The Vauxhall Cavalier, one of the safest cars you'll ever bump into.
You people in England, think of the West Indies as a wonderful place for a holiday. When your boys come out here next February, they're going to have a holiday they'll never forget. Never forget. Never forget.
England's tour of the West Indies, only on Sky Sports.
Welcome back to the Monday Night Football. Just for a short time, Terry Yarrow was a little worried he'd given us the wrong answer to that quiz question, but no. We're at Highfield Road. It's Coventry City and Swindon Town. Goalless at half-time. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Ian Dart.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you, fellows, for the interesting half-time chat. The Coventry fans will be hoping that their side can add to Swindon's woe and misery in this second half. But Swindon have done pretty well so far, Andy.
They've battled very well. I think they've defended better than certainly they were doing at the beginning of the season, Ian, but they've defended in numbers, and I think that's what's helped them. Midfield have defended better, and they've helped their back four out, and I think that's helped the team overall.
Brian Hill from Kettering is the referee tonight, and Coventry City, as if you need reminded, in the sky blue, 0-0 at half-time. Just to confirm, there was a booking for Nicky Summerby in that first half, but not for Martin Ling for his rather wild challenge on Peter and Love. Swindon, who will be bidding here for only their 5th clean sheet in the Premiership this season. That took a deflection off Williams and will be a Swindon throw.
He's still getting the bird, isn't he?
They don't forget. I think that lovely run of his down the wing was a little bit of an answer to the fans right at the end of the first half, Nicky Summerby. Taylor gets it away. Back in by Morgan. Coventry have been held at home by West Ham, Chelsea, Southampton, Sheffield United and Oldham. There are only 2 defeats, though, against Leeds and Manchester United. This is Bodin. Maskell lays this one back here to Nicky Summerby. Now Martin Ling. Good-looking cross, much attacked it. It was one in the air by Burrows. And here's the composed Marsden, and Atherton getting it in the away. Flynn to Burrows, and all a wee bit tight with Horlock around. Horlock, who's established himself in the side. He was mostly a substitute during Swindon's promotion campaign last year. And the Swindon fans who've travelled up from Wiltshire beginning to make a wee bit of noise. I wonder if John Gorman might have told his troops at half-time, well, come on, you can go out and win this game and take all 3 points.
Guaranteed that was getting a big cheer. An in-love tackle on Summerby.
It's certainly one of the feature confrontations, isn't it?
It's been good because Nicky Summerby, when he gets the ball, Ian, is just as potent at times going forward as Peter Inlove. So he's got a job on defending Peter Inlove as well, you know.
Summerby's good-looking cross, dropping around dangerously in there. And in the end, it was Bodin who had the chance once more. And again, the man who is kicking himself for squandering it.
Yes, he is, because he's better than this. This is a very inviting chance for Paul Bodin. It's his right foot he ends up having to take it with. And that perhaps the reason why he gets underneath it and skies it. I fancy if that had dropped to his left side, it would at least have made Steve Ogrizovic work for his money.
He's usually a pretty good goal scorer as well, Paul Bodin. He gets more than his share. Here's Flynn, his number almost obscured. We commentators feel that a law should be passed against that. That lot of chance. Here's Burrows. Back here to Derby. This is Marsden, who's taken the eye for Coventry City. Burrows. Regularly working the 1-2 with Flynn. Good determined run from him. Sean Taylor gets across, the Swindon skipper.
He's unlucky, Flynn. A yard less of pace on the ball. And I think he might have arrived there before Taylor.
Here's Williams. Taylor again to the rescue of Swindon. Well, he spent a lot of his career in the lower divisions at Exeter City, and before that in the Western League with Bideford, and what an adventure it is for him in particular in the Premiership with Swindon, but that was good defending. Wegerle's corner for Coventry. And whose head was it? Taylor.
It's important for Coventry now that they keep a bit of pressure on. Something they've been unable to do, certainly in the first half.
Burrows with the cross. Oh, Summerby lets it fall to Marsden, and it still might come for Unlove. Goodness me, that was almost a nightmare for Nicky Summerby. Back in again, there's some pushing and shoving in there, and Swindon have a free kick, but Summerby there nearly undid all of Swindon's good work.
Well, it's things like this that have cost Swindon dear this season. Now, what he's thinking of here, I don't know. It looks like he's trying to take it back towards his own goal. Miscontrols it. I'll tell you what, that's a fine save from Nicky Hammond. It really was.
He's had a good game as well, Nicky Hammond, getting his chance with Fraser Digby's long-term injury, the dislocated shoulder. And the former Arsenal apprentice bailing Swindon Town out there. Marsden, it was who so nearly opened Coventry's account. Now here is Brian Burrows. Derby back to Burrows again, who's much involved. And the football breaks down. It was not the best of touches from Williams. Moncur does well. Bodin. Maskell inside him. Bodin may try to hit the byline. Instead to Maskell. Just asked a lot, really, of Craig Maskell, the final ball. Now Horlock coming forward from the back. Nice work from Swindon. Horlock's cross, Maskell's header, and here's Andy Match with a great chance! And it is squandered.
Wonderful opportunity, but I'll tell you what, give Steve Ogrizovic a bit of credit here. He's got a decision to make much. Does he go near post? Does he go across the goalkeeper? Phil Babb does well. He gets himself back on the line. But look at Ogrizovic, he stands tall.
Here's Wegerle for Coventry. And chances at both ends. Swindon defended that one well.
Well, I said in the first half, Ian, every opportunity had been from distance. We're already in the opening 7 minutes of this match. Both teams have got into the opponents' 18-yard boxes and tested the goalkeepers.
Sean Taylor covered in mud and glory.
Yeah, you see it here. Wegerle, you really fancied him here. 1 against 1, it's made for him. He doesn't really shift the ball a lot, does he, Roy Wegerle? And Taylor defends it very well indeed.
Now, Roy Wegerle, in that kind of situation, can be as tricky as a Peter Beardsley with his little drags and to work half a yard of space for the shot. And Taylor did ever so well.
Well, look, thinking back to the Andy Much chance, Ian, we're off another this game. He's enjoying it.
Well, they've got Coventry coming up in the FA Cup, of course.
Ian Atkins there, an old teammate of mine sitting in front of him as well.
When he
that
came
Bob Latchford there as well, was it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, good spot, Andy, yeah. Taylor is all right again. He can smile. Just a reminder again, Leeds v Villa, the scheduled match on Monday Night Football, postponed. But with a bit of heroics and dashing up and down the motorways. We're bringing you Coventry and Swindon live.
Well, I hope that stoppage doesn't interfere with the opening 6 or 7 minutes, because it was really going at a bit of a pace. Tempo of the game had picked up. Both teams getting into the penalty area, into the danger area for about the first time in the match.
Here's Wegley again, looking to taunt that Swindon defence. Marston lays it across. Derby with the shot, took a deflection on the way through and hits the post. Oh, and Whitbread with the saving tackle in the nick of time. Well, this is some second half. No goals yet, but certainly no shortage of incident either. Here's Burrows now. Well, that would have been cruel had that deflected into the net.
Would have been cruel, but we wouldn't have had Coventry complaining. Peter Inlove, it hits there. But look at Hammond. Does he get anything on it? We're not sure, but it comes off the post. And when you need your centre-back not to give it up, Whitbread provides a really... Well, what a tackle that was. Inlove would have just tapped it into an empty net.
Wegley has found some space down that right-hand channel. And that really was giving it away for Horlock. Now Much. You can see that it's a surface made for the sliding tackle.
It seems to me that Phil Neal's had a little word with his players to up the tempo in this second half.
Morgan asking a lot of Williams.
He probably thought as the home side, Ian, they weren't asking enough questions of Swindon. They weren't testing him enough defensively. And they've certainly upped the pace of the game.
Marsden to Babb, and now Derby, who's getting more involved now. Burrows. Coventry beginning to turn up the heat. Flynn. And a chance. Oh, deflected over the bar from Flynn.
That was a super move, Ian. It really was. All the way across the pitch, involving Burrows and Flynn all the way through. And as he draws his foot back, again, what an important tackle that was from John Moncur. Again, it's an example of the Swindon midfield needing to defend.
Coventry's corner. The pressure now becoming quite intense. This is Marsden. Nobody on the far post, not in a blue shirt anyway. Horlock. Swindon being penned back now, and this is, you feel, a key period of the match for them to survive. Williams tries to get the cross in off Taylor.
Yeah, for the first time in the match, Ian, they've been able to keep Swindon under pressure. Pin them back, as you say, and say, well, can you hold out? And this is a test for the Swindon lads. So often this season under pressure.
Wegley with the corner. Whitbread gets it away. Back to Wegley again. Tried to find Derby. Instead it's Morgan. And oh, there's a bit of nastiness going on there, which is quickly quelled, I'm glad to say. And the end result is going to be a Coventry free kick. Coventry testing Swindon's New Year's resolution to tighten their defence. Morgan's shot is blocked. Wegley tries to tiptoe his way through. Now here's Horlock, the youngster. Swindon just can't retain possession. Marsden, Wegley, and another very good saving tackle by Whitbread, the central defender.
But I did think Wegley gave him the chance here. I think when he drags it there, it opened up for him to hit it. But you see, he refuses that opportunity. And by doing that, it allowed Whitbread to make the tackle.
Just for the moment, Swindon can't get any kind of grip in midfield, can they?
They can't get hold of the ball, you were quite right. And that's what they must do. Must put a few passes together. Put this thing out the game.
Summerby up against Unlove again. And the winner this time is, well, neither of them really. Steve Morgan, who arrived for £115,000 from Peter Shorten's Plymouth Argyle, and has done quite well since he arrived at Coventry too. Taylor again. He really has been a bit of a hero back there for Swindon. Flynn. Down the line for Burrows. Taylor does enough. This is Maskell. Moncur crowded out by Morgan. And Moncur had made a great run down the middle. If only he could have been found there.
Wasn't a great ball from Andy Much, was it? That's always going to be the threat, though. Coventry have looked like they're prepared to throw men forward, commit themselves to win the game. And while doing that, they'll always be open to a quick break from Swindon. And that seems to be set for the second half.
Just to underline that point, Coventry have had nearly all this play in the second half, yet maybe the best chance of all fell to Andy Much of Swindon. Took Swindon until their 16th match in the Premiership to get their first win. That was against Queen's Park Rangers. And despite their harrowing start, they do still have chances of surviving. Now here's Williams with the header.
Well, they better defend better than that, Ian. Anyone who look at the space that John Williams finds himself, right in between both centre-backs, both ball-watching. And really, John Williams, it's a pretty tame header, you have to say.
Seem to remember him scoring a winner on one of our Monday night footballs against Spurs early last season.
It was a better header than that one, I can assure you that.
The old poaching postman, as he's sometimes known, John Williams. He used to do that job in the Handsworth area of Birmingham before he became a full-time pro. Bowed in, and that really was easy for a Grizovic. Coventry are warming up Mickey Quinn, Andy.
That might take a while. Quinny.
Martin Ling knew all about that challenge from Morgan. I told you he was enthusiastic. Well, that's one of the words they use anyway down in Coventry. Now, Sumo himself is being introduced into the action. Mickey Quinn, as Coventry seek the breakthrough, and that header by John Williams was his last contribution.
The greeting from Mickey.
Interesting that Kevin Keegan, his old boss, is among the crowd, isn't it? And by accounts one reads this morning, they've rather patched up their differences now. That's good to hear. Now, is Quinn going to have a say in the outcome here? Now, Moncur for Swindon. Horlock. Almost chipped in towards the path of Maskell. Babb gets it away hurriedly.
Well, they've stemmed the tide for the moment, haven't they, Swindon? With some relief to their back four, who have been under severe pressure most of this half.
Maskell trying to close in on that one again. I'm feeling that maybe just Swindon have weathered the worst of the storm for the moment, or have I spoken too soon from their point of view?
I think there'll be more questions to be asked, Ian, before the night's out.
Swindon want a corner, Coventry want a goal kick. And the corner is given. I must say, I thought that was a goal kick.
I think you're right. Looked to me for all the world that Craig Maskell just poked it out for a goal kick. I don't think Peter Atherton's too pleased. Have a look here, he's just trying to make sure the ball goes out, the foot goes through, pokes it out for a goal kick, and won't Phil Neal be upset if they end up scoring from this?
Swindon won't mind, though. Bodin takes it. Up goes Taylor, and Agrizovic was alive to the threat that the big defender can cause.
Well, that certainly makes up for the earlier one he dropped in the first half. Comes into a crowd of players. Big Augie holds on to that very well under pressure.
Atherton spreading this wide to Steve Morgan. Quinn's first touch, off to Unlove, and now here's Marsden. Oh, seems to have a lot of time with the ball, Chris Marsden. Quinn inside to Marsden once more. And that was one of his few misplaced passes of the night. Oh, that's given away by Ling. Chance again for Coventry to examine the Swindon defence. Quinn's little flick. Chance on the counter for Swindon is rather wasted. Coventry have had a pretty good run under Phil Neal since he took over in the Premiership. Won 4, drawn 3, lost 3. They're just below halfway and climbing at the moment.
I think that's the important thing. Near the end of Bobby Gould's reign, they were dropping alarmingly in the Premiership, but certainly Phil Neal, to his credit, has stemmed that and has got his side now, as you say, going in the right direction.
Nicky Summerby. Now Ling. Chances here for Swindon. Maskell on his better left foot. And it was a really good challenge coming in. I think it was from Flynn. Marsden.
All right, go again, come on.
Coventry 0, Swindon Town 0. Live pictures here from Highfield Road, replacing the scheduled match between Leeds and Villa, which was postponed.
Crowd are not too happy with that. Linesman put his flag up for offside, about 20 yards ahead of the play.
Paul Bodin. This is only the second time we've featured Swindon Town live on Sky Sports, and they won't want to remember the first occasion, a 5-0 home defeat by Liverpool. This is much more to the liking of the Swindon fans, I'm sure. Atherton is the man who needs some treatment. The Coventry bench are urging Roy Wegley to take more advanced positions.
I think he's going to have to now, Ian, with Phil Neal taking off John Williams, who was a real threat in behind. You don't expect to see Mickey Quinn run in there too often. He's a goal poacher. He'll get himself in the box, so they do need Roy Wegley to get up in contact with Mickey Quinn and run off him.
Atherton's all right again, but the referee wants play pulled back. Incidentally, we'll bring you all the goals from today's action in the Premiership right after this match on Sky Sports, so hang around. And there still might be plenty of unfolding drama here as well. Swindon desperate for every point in their fight to avoid relegation. Taylor heads it down. Here's Terry Fenwick. Summerby's ball is charged down by Quinn. And Horlock it was doing the covering. Well, I don't know if it's going to be one of those lucky days for Mickey Quinn today. I wonder if any of his race horses were running this afternoon anywhere. There's tonight's crowd, 15,825. Not bad at all after a wet and windy old day up and down the country. Maskell. Marston's challenge, illegal.
Certainly a threat from areas like this, with Bowden able to come over to this side with his left foot to look for a shot, with Whitbread and Taylor going up for anything that wants to be played in the air. They've got enough options and they've got enough threat.
The big defenders have come forward here for Swindon. Moncur takes it. Nobody made a run into that particular slot. Moncur bundled off it by Mickey Quinn, and surprisingly, the referee says play on. The Swindon will want to know why if this results in a goal. Taylor's there, out to Derby again, and Summerby hacking it away.
It would have been interesting. I'm not so sure that Moncur didn't just run into Mickey Quinn. And when you do that, you don't often come off best. Advantage in body weight, I would suggest there.
He's playing for his place, Mickey Quinn, too, at the moment. He's had the indignity of being left out, but part of the reason for him being left out is he's been a bit jaded with the Achilles problem he's been having. Steve Ogrizovic, who started the season out of the side with Jonathan Gold, Bobby Gold's son, being preferred, but very much number one again at the moment. Moncur back defending and doing well. Not seen very much of Swindon as an attacking force in this second half, apart from one absolutely glorious chance for Andy Mutch. Mutch lays it off to his skipper, Sean Taylor. Not the best ball forward. It's given Coventry possession again. Marsden measures it for Quinn. And, well, I think he was thinking of the chip, and it ended up as a kind of hybrid effort in the end.
I'm not so sure what Mickey was thinking about there. But I know he was always looking to shoot early.
We hear that Keith Scott may soon be introduced for Swindon Town, a man who's made quite a bit of an impact since he arrived from Wycombe Wanderers. And Bowden with the forward run, and he was fouled. Swindon will have a free kick, and I should think they'd like to get Scott on for that as well, because he's good in the air. That's what's going to happen. Craig Maskell is the man coming off, and Keith Scott. Wycombe paid £30,000 from Lincoln City for him when they were a non-league side in the conference. So they sold him for £300,000, and he was a bit of a cold figure at Adams Park, and they won't hear a word against him. And he's done well with 4 goals in 10 games since his arrival at the county ground. Keith Scott is the name. He's got an eye for goal, all right, and he's in there now as Swindon have a free kick. Bouncing around dangerously, hacked away gratefully in the end by Coventry.
I think you could see there, any set piece they get, and they put one in there, they've got enough height to cause plenty of problems.
That was Scott winning it. Scott got 2 in his first 2 games for Swindon Town. Coventry breaking. Oh, that's a good ball to find Wegerle. This is a real chance here for Coventry. Is this the breakthrough? Yes, it is. Roy Wegerle is the scorer. It's his 3rd goal in the last 4 games. And Coventry City at last have the breakthrough.
Oh, it's a magnificent goal, and I tell you what, Chris Marsden deserves a lot of credit. But when Wegerle gets in there, he's very emphatic. There's no doubt in his mind what he was going to do. The ball through is from Flynn. In goes Wegerle, and he drills it. But what impressed me, when they won the ball on the edge of their own box, Marsden was so easily just to hack it upfield, but he kept his composure. He walked out the box, drove in between a couple of players, and played a smashing ball to Flynn. And we saw the rest from there. It's a wonderful goal.
Have Swindon got an answer to it? They have 16 minutes to rescue it. Roy Wegerle starting to become something of a hit at Highfield Road after the swap deal last deadline day involving Kevin Gallagher's move to Blackburn Rovers. Now, Nicky Summerby. Swindon needs some magic from him down this right-hand side now. Ling. Well spread wide to Horlock. And again, Flynn, who set up the goal with the important challenge. Coventry with their noses in front. Across comes Sean Taylor.
Well, you have to say on the balance of the second half that Coventry deserved to be in front. They've been the team prepared to throw men forward, to look to win the game from the outset.
Quinn, good turn. And again. And off Taylor for the corner. What's he complaining about, do you think?
I think he's wanting a defender in front of him for the throw-in, so that the ball wasn't easy to get into Quinn.
Wegerle, the goal scorer, this time with the corner kick. Bowed in. Oh, and headed away by Terry Fenwick from Morgan's effort. And that saved the second goal, I think.
Well, it was on its way. They've got a man on the post, and it may be that he would have been able to get the header away. You see, right behind Fenwick. But nonetheless, Terry Fenwick didn't know that.
The Coventry fans making a terrific noise at the moment. There might only be 15,000 of them here, but their side are beginning to gain some momentum. It's been a very good holiday for them, with away wins at Wimbledon and Spurs, and at the moment they could make it 9 points out of 9 unless Swindon have other ideas. Much is aimed towards Scott. It might go for the corner kick. Well, Swindon rescued a point with 20 seconds to go at Sheffield Wednesday when Craig Maskell scored. They've got a bit longer than that here. Summerby. Whitbread couldn't get his head to it. There's Taylor. And, well, there was a hand in there, but the whistle had already gone.
He gives a free kick against Sean Taylor, I think it is, at the end of the day, but I'm not so sure for what. You see the ball's dropping here, and he gives a free kick for that, which, I mean, it's hardly contact at all.
Well, Marsden had clearly heard the whistle, otherwise he wouldn't have stuck his hand out like that.
Well, we'd like to think so.
I think so with the rest of the Coventry boys as well. Darby knocking it forward. Well, unless Swindon can get an equaliser here, their holiday return is going to read 1 point out of 12. And, of course, in their perilous situation, it's not enough. Oh, that's left short. Is Scott going in there? Grizovic to the rescue. But that nearly was a gifted equaliser. Moncur. Neat little player. Fenwick. Fenwick again. Ling seemed to be caught late. Good advantage played by Brian Hill, the referee. Moncur. And Flynn's challenge. Well, he says he won the ball.
It's a close one, this, because I think Flynn certainly goes in, but I think you see he takes line first and then the ball. And the referee was only, what, 2 or 3 yards away from the incident.
Well, this is a promising situation for Swindon Town.
No, Bowden will fancy it, won't he? Paul Bowden with his left foot. He's certainly capable of testing the goalkeeper from there.
So are we going to see Bowden curl one here? Fennick is there as well. No, it's Bowden. Wall does its job. The speed of Unlove, a sight to behold. Oh, and that's a spectacular ball for Quinn from Unlove. And Mickey Quinn is denied by Hammond. And the goalkeeper did so well.
Wow, what a piece of play from Peter Unlove. Very positive run, but that pass, what a magnificent ball. Great vision, great execution. And Mickey Quinn will be a little disappointed that he hasn't put this game out of Swindon's reach.
Well, if Swindon do come back to get something from this game, they owe their goalkeeper something in the bar afterwards.
Well, he's kept him in it all right.
Coventry 1, Swindon 0, with 10 minutes remaining. And the plot thickening at Highfield Road. This is Marsden. Now Morgan. And Unlove again. No wonder they are beginning to talk of him as a £3 million player. What a superb piece of play that was from him just now to set up Mickey Quinn.
And yet, in all fairness, he's been quiet. Second half, Peter Unlove was far more involved in the game in the first half. Now, that was a little piece of play. It shows you what he's capable of doing. You're right there.
Whitbread. Horlock with his close-cropped hair. Clever little touch from Bowden, but Horlock would have needed to be a greyhound to get it.
And even then he'd have struggled. Very ambitious.
Here's Babb. Burrows. And Horlock gives that ball away. And here goes Flynn. Oh, he's caught from behind by Horlock. And what action will the referee, I wonder, take about that?
Well, I would suggest he's going to have to book him. Strength and determination from Flynn there, even as Horlock trying to haul him back. And you see him there, deliberately, a little flick of the heels. I'll be very surprised if that doesn't earn him a booking.
And it has. Second booking for Swindon Town. 21-year-old Kevin Horlock. Along with Nicky Summerby, who was booked in the first half. Just a reminder that coming up after this game, we'll bring you all today's goals in the Premiership if you haven't seen them already. And even if you have, you can have another glance at them. There's always something new to see in the goals. John Gorman is shouting out to his players, keep your heads up, lads. He's such a nice man. You always wish the very best things for him, but there's not a lot of room for sentiment, is there?
And there's not a lot he can do there. It's a hopeless position he's in, standing on the sidelines, his side one down. Just got to give them that vocal encouragement and hope his players respond.
Quinn nods it down. Here's Flynn. Marsden. Wegerle. Derby. Burrows. And in the end, Fennick And Bodin, but it's given away again. Swindon are being penned back. Maybe those legs are starting to tire. They've had to work very hard in the second half. Now here's Flynn's cross. Looks very dangerous. And Unlove was closing in on it on the back post. Couldn't quite reach it.
Well, that's the best cross of the match. Teasing, tempting.
Wegley cuts that back. Quinn, Unlove, is this number 2? It might be. Oh, and off the line by Whitbread.
Great vision from Mickey Quinn. Just watch the way he spots Unlove's run. One touch and it's perfectly played. Unlove controls himself, but Whitbread manages to keep his feet. Really, Coventry should have this game wrapped up by now.
Don't know about you, Andy. For my money, Coventry look at a much improved side of late.
Very much so. Phil Neal has brought a composure and a confidence to the side that wasn't there earlier in the season. And a style of play that's pleasing to the eye, it has to be said.
They're on a good roll, but Swindon are still only 1 goal in arrears and will still feel that maybe they can snatch something.
Of course they'll feel that. They've rode their luck. The woodwork saved them twice. The goalkeeper on numerous other occasions. Adrian Whitbread just then. And they look at the scoreline, it's still only 1-0.
Well, Sky Sports' sumptuous diet of football continues tomorrow night when we will bring you a humdinger. Liverpool against Manchester United, live from Anfield, only on this channel. Here's the elegant John Moncur. Scott, who hasn't been able to make much of an impression as yet. And I stress as yet.
Now there are 4.5 minutes, and a lot can happen in football in 4.5 minutes.
A lot can happen in 1 minute. Ask Queen's Park Rangers. They led in 2. Didn't they at home against Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend? Well, Swindon have had only 2 wins in 27 competitive matches this season, and they have 4 minutes to save themselves from another defeat here. They have had 2 excellent chances in this game. Bodin in the first half, much in the second. They weren't taken. And Coventry have taken 1, at least, of theirs. Roy Wegley, the scorer. Quinn here to Wegley. He does look on top of his game at the moment, doesn't he, Roy Wegley?
He's got a confident air about him. I think his role of just, it seems to me, he's been given a freedom to go and express himself in the game. Go and get involved wherever he feels he can do damage. And he certainly seems to be responding to that.
Horlock and Flynn together. Swindon need to get it out of there quite quickly. Marsden picks it up again. He's had another outstanding match as he did at White Hart Lane. Here's Quinn. It's been a heavy old surface. There are some tired legs out there now, as you'd expect. Martin Ling, though, trying to salvage something for Swindon Town.
Well, that's what they don't want to do, Coventry. Controlling the game, a couple of minutes left, just giving it away aimlessly like that.
Scott beaten in the air. The miscue is by Babb.
Well, that's a little disappointing, isn't it, at such a crucial stage of the match, but we do appear to have lost those pictures. What, 88 minutes played, Coventry City leading by 1-0. If you've been with us all night, you'll know that we were on something of a wing and a prayer anyway. Our live game at Elland Road between Leeds and Aston Villa was postponed earlier. We moved heaven and earth to get that game for you from Highfield Road tonight. At the moment, we unfortunately have lost our pictures. 1-0 to the Sky Blues with about a couple of minutes left. Terry Yorath and Peter with our guests tonight on the Monday Night Football. And all things being equal, it would appear that Coventry have that game sewn up, Terry. But, as Andy was just saying, a lot can happen in a minute or two, can't it?
Yeah, they deserve it, though. They completely outplayed Swindon in the second half. I felt in the first half that they fell into the trap of playing the way that Swindon wanted them to play, you know, nice and easy and one pace. And the second half, they stepped it up and they deserve to be winning. Swindon
surviving just, Peter, despite the fact that the woodwork had been hit, the ball had been cleared off the line, and at 1-0 you always fancy your chances, surely.
The ironic thing is that, you know, I mean, all right, there's 3 or 4 minutes left, that they could still get back into the game, and that's the way you think sometimes. You know, you're playing games, you think at 1-0 you've still got a chance, but to be fair, they've not even been in the game. I mean, chances that they've had one, maybe 2 chances, where if Coventry have run it. And it's nice to see my old mate Chris Marsden playing for them on loan, who's with me at Huddersfield Town, and to be fair, I think he's been the best player on the pitch. He's been everywhere.
We've lost our pictures, but we are still in touch with Highfield Road. It remains Coventry 1, Swindon Town 0, and there's about a minute of that match left. You were just saying, Terry, weren't you, as we watched that, he appeared to be the best player on the park tonight.
Oh, without doubt. He had plenty of time. He was able to pass the ball, control the ball, and in fact, he had a big hand in the goal. You know, he was quite cool on the ball, left-back position, and played it from there. And it was a good goal by Coventry.
Wasn't it just from, as you said, that left full-back position?
Yeah, they had about 5 or 6 passes. Great finish by Wegley. You know, I didn't think at the time he was going to score, but it was a great finish.
Hasn't finished yet. It's still 1-0 to Coventry. If it stays that way, as Ian Dark was saying, that's 1 point from 12 holiday return for Swindon, which isn't enough. They were on the attack here, ironically. This is the goal. This is where Coventry broke from. That's what you were saying, Terry, isn't it? Marsden here picks this up.
He sits on the ball. He doesn't panic. I thought he was going to get himself in trouble, but he knocks it backwards.
Nice little ball in.
Lovely ball.
To be fair, that's what he's done. When we had him, that was the one thing. When he left Sheffield United, I signed him, funnily enough, from Sheffield United for Huddersfield. I mean, that's a great finish when he's there. Keeper's gone down there. Brilliant finish.
Yeah,
but he was always wanting to play football, and he left Sheffield United for the simple reason as Dave Bassett wanted to get the ball forward quickly, and he wanted to play in a side where they were going to pass the ball, and he's done the same, funnily enough, Mr. Warnock's taken over at Huddersfield, and he's now moved to a side that's want to pass the ball and want to play around, you know. And I would think that at half-time, Phil Neal and Mr. Brown has probably had a few words about them getting forward and getting a bit more aggressive on the ball and getting into the box a little bit more, and that's what they've ended up doing, to be fair.
Anything can happen in a minute or two. It's you won't believe this. It's Coventry City 1, Swindon Town 1. Andy Much has equalised for Swindon, and we'll do our best to get that goal for you before we leave you tonight. The whistle's just gone, in fact. It's 1-1 at Highfield Road, Coventry City 1, Swindon Town 1, which is great news for Swindon supporters. Andy Much with another late equaliser for Swindon Town. And they have made a bit of a habit of that of late, and full marks to them. They're not giving up, are they?
Can we start again now? Swindon thoroughly deserved it. Yeah, they have, actually. But you could never, ever see Swindon getting a point out of that game, and Coventry have got to be kicking themselves, because their second-half performance was probably as good as anything you've seen this season from anybody. The passing was superb, the movement was good.
I think it's John Gorman on the pitch there, is it? Just saluting those Swindon Town fans who are as loyal as you like. Follow them up and down the country without too much reward so far this season, but that's a very valuable point at Highfield Road tonight. Very sorry we lost those pictures at a crucial time, but we are doing our best to find that Swindon Town equaliser. We were, of course, as I said, on something of a wing and a prayer tonight, having lost our original match at Elland Road tonight between Leeds and Villa. We moved up to Highfield Road. We've seen a stormer, really. Coventry leading by a goal to 0 for a fair time. Wegley the scorer in the second half. And then Swindon Town found themselves an equaliser with just a couple of minutes left to play. Scored by Andy Much. And we'll find it as soon as we can.
You've got to be thinking that Coventry must have made a mistake somewhere along the line.
Here it is, Terry. This is the equaliser. We're into the final minute here. We must be, with Swindon still pressing forward. As we said, Coventry had hit the bar, seen one cleared off the line, but that's a good goal.
Yeah, good finish.
That's a great finish, to be fair. I mean, he's made a great run into the box. Probably, I mean, they've only had, what, 3 or 4 crosses that have gone into the box. And what we were complaining about, funnily enough, there wasn't getting enough bodies into the box. And all of a sudden, they get enough bodies into the box. And
it's a good ball and a good take, isn't it?
Yeah. And he's just got in front of it.
Good finish. Great finish.
Great finish. I mean, it's not Highfield Road they're leaving, is it? They got out of jail, I think.
We're live again now. Those Coventry fans going home are might disappointed. Swindon Town supporters amongst them are absolutely delighted. That's a hard-earned draw tonight at Highfield Road. Survived by the skin of their teeth, but it's a valuable point. Coventry City 1, Swindon Town 1. We'll have a look at the goals again from Highfield Road after the break and all of today's Premiership goals. But our live match finished. Coventry City 1, Swindon Town 1. More from Terry Yorth and Peter With in a moment or so.
The football festivities continue tomorrow night on Sky Sports. And it's Liverpool's turn to try to slow down the runaway leaders, mighty Manchester United, as these traditional rivals clash head-on live at Anfield.
He's in, he's scored!
Liverpool versus Manchester United tomorrow night at 7 on Sky Sports.
I did that.
It was nice of her to do that.
Someone else did all that.
I didn't know they did that.
I'm glad they don't do that.
At Thomson, we spend 52 weeks a year making your 2 weeks perfect.
I'll see Frank join the army then.
What for?
I don't know why Frank did it.
I suppose someone's got to do it.
If you want more of a job and more of a life, to be frank, join the army. Phone 0345 300 111.
Heartburn, acid indigestion, trapped wind. Andrew's antacid tablets help relieve 3 kinds of indigestion. They fizz pleasantly on the tongue, and 2 tablets can neutralize the acid in 5 lemons. When it comes to the acid test, Andrew's antacid tablets help relieve 3 kinds of indigestion.
Suck 'em and see.
together.
Welcome back to the Monday Night Football, which came from Elland Road and Highfield Road tonight. We lost Leeds against Villa. We saw Coventry against Swindon Town, and a very good game it proved to be as well. 1-1 the final score. Our guests here, Terry Yarth and Peter With, and let's start to pick our way through some of the best action in that second half. First of all, Coventry's goal, scored by Roy Wegerle, his 6th of the season, and a very good goal too, eh, Terry?
Yeah, as we said previously, Marsden stays cool on the ball here. Makes a space for himself, plays it backwards. I'm not sure whether that player there meant that ball, but that's another excellent ball. Wegerle gets onto it. I thought he'd taken it too far, but it was a great finish. Fantastic finish.
I was screaming in the end. I thought I was hoping that he was going to cut across the player, because you always say cut across him. I mean, that's a great ball inside, but you know, when he's running here, I'm thinking, well, get across him now, because he's going to catch it on the back of the legs and you'll get a penalty. But to be fair, I mean, goalkeepers...
See, that wouldn't have happened in the first half, because Swindon were defending in depth. They're defending deeper. There, they've pushed up the square. Players able to play the ball around them, and Wegerle had enough pace to do it. It's
very much Coventry's half for long spells, that second half, and Peter Undlove revelling in the possession that he had. There's an opportunity here for him. Is this a player of immense talent, Terry Undlove?
Oh, without doubt. Possibly you could say if he played on a bigger stage, he'd be even better. That's no disrespect to Coventry. But I think there's plenty more to come out of him. I don't know whether he's worth the price that people are talking about.
Which is $2 million plus. I mean, unintentionally hitting the post there, but the opportunity created for Mickey Quinn had class written all over it. What about a ball like this, Peter? From under pressure, remember, here they broke from a free kick.
Yeah, he's done brilliant here. I mean, he skips a few tackles, checks inside, looks up, great vision here. Good left football. And look who's there, Mr. Quinn. I said in here, I thought this is a goal, because once he get into these positions, normally Mickey... I thought he was going to check back, but he's taken his opportunity, had an early strike. And, you know, I mean, as we say sometimes, it's easier sitting up here. Maybe it would have been better just checking onto his right foot, his best foot, and just bending it in the top corner.
Wegerle did that, though, in the first half, and you were screaming at him, weren't you? Saying, take it earlier. Yeah. I mean... You take them as you see them, don't you?
I think as a manager there, you'd say that Mickey hit the target, the keeper made a decent save, and you can't ask for any more.
That's like the one Robbie Fowler scored at Tottenham, isn't it? Went through the keeper's legs. That one's hit a leg.
That's right.
That's the difference between 1-0 and 2-0. And Undlove again here with an opportunity created by Quinn this time.
Great little vision here, I think. I mean, that's a great ball in. But where the run is, I mean, he just dinks it in. And to be fair, I thought he was going to hit it early. Goalkeeper's done well. Boy's done brilliant on the line. Just covered his line, cleared it off.
Didn't have the pace, did it?
Difficult chance, really. He's hit it with the wrong foot, with his left foot, and the boys done well to get back there. But it was interesting again, that move started with Marsden again. You know, Marsden fed it left, Quinny knocked it inside, and it was a good move.
They better get him signed before the price goes up, I think. Here comes the equaliser for Swindon from Andy Much, very late on. I think the 89th minute we're in here.
Yeah, well, as we say, I mean, you've always, when it's 1-0, you've always got a chance of coming back. I mean, that's a brilliant ball in. It's a class finish, to be fair. I mean, he's got a toe in it. He's got straight in front of people. And I would feel that you're very, very disappointed. I mean, Phil Neal and Brownie be going in there thinking, what do we say? What do you say to the players when they've done everything that you've asked? They've had most of the possession. It'd be interesting to see what possession count that they had. But, I mean, they've done everything.
Well, what do you say? How do you have a go at players when, as you say, they've had so much of the game, they've done so well for long periods, and yet only get a 1-1 out of it?
I think sitting on the outside is easy. From here, you go in there and you say to them, well done, you've played great. You know, they're a delight to watch. But it's actually the crowd. The crowd will go away disappointed, and they'll be asking questions of why didn't we score more goals? How did we let one in at the end? Swindon didn't look a good side. But as a manager and a coach, you just lift your own side, and hopefully when you walk in the boardroom, the chairman says, well done to you.
Or talks to you.
Yeah, even.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Highfield Road and join Nick Collins, who's with a couple of the Swindon heroes.
Well, we've got Andy Much, the goal scorer, Nicky Hammond, the Swindon goalkeeper here. Andy, first of all, congratulations. Left it a bit late, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, really. I thought we worked hard tonight, and I think Coventry played quite well at times, but I think we're probably fortunate at the end to get an equaliser, but I think it was deserved in a way, because we probably worked hard as we've ever over Christmas.
With a minute to go, when the ball was kicked off the line, did you think, oh, no, here we go again, we're just not destined to get anything from tonight?
Well, I thought that was it. I thought Terry had a chance a bit earlier on with a header, which he cleared away. Then he had that header again, and obviously your spirits are down. But, you know, fair play to the lads, they kept battling away, and obviously we got a draw in the end, which probably we're pleased with.
Well, Nicky Hammond, the goalkeeper, a good battling display from Swindon tonight. You kept busy, though, weren't you?
That's right, but it was a great team performance after Saturday's result. We were very disappointed against Chelsea. We let the fans down and probably the manager as well. And so we were determined tonight, and we kept going to the end as we did against Sheffield Wednesday, and I thought we got what we deserved.
What's the spirit like within the team?
It's probably as good as you'll find at any club. We've got a great bunch of lads, the spirit's excellent, and, you know, although we're down there, we all keep pulling together, and that's what we need to get out of trouble.
Andy, do you believe that Swindon can avoid relegation this season?
I think we can, yeah. I think, as Hammy said, the spirit has been very good. I think if we keep battling away, obviously, with a little bit of luck, we might just sneak out of it.
The away performances in the last couple of games, though, must be a great source of encouragement.
That's right. At times it suits us a little bit more. Teams come on to us, and with our quick passing, we break quickly, and a little bit of pressure off us, I suppose, playing away from home. Obviously, at the county ground, we're expected to do better. So the away performances have been good, yeah.
Finally, Andy, 1994, do you see it being a good year for Swindon?
Well, as you say, I hope so. I mean, I think before Christmas we'd showed a little bit of good form. Obviously, Arsenal played superb, and obviously Chelsea did. So we've got to take that on the chin and just look forward to the new year.
Wish you luck. Well done, the pair of you.
So, 1-1 from Highfield Road. Thank you, Nick Collins. That's a difficult question for Andy Much to say no to, isn't it? Can you stay up? But what do you think, as far as Swindon are concerned, Terry?
Very difficult for them. They obviously haven't got enough points at the moment to get anywhere near the team above them. So they have to start winning games, never mind drawing them. And if you had to put your cards on the table, you'd say no chance.
But for the neutrals, you'd like to see them, wouldn't you? Because they do play the game the right way.
Football-wise, yeah. Yeah, they always try and play football. You know, when you go and watch them play, you know, you're always going to get a good game. So from that point of view, you'd love to see them stay up.
Peter, what do you think?
If they ride the luck like that, then there's no reason why they can't, to be fair. I mean, when you look at a game and when you think that you're dead and buried and you're not, and all of a sudden you get a goal like that, you think to yourself, well, if we keep on... It builds confidence in players, because all of a sudden you think, well, we haven't been in the game, and yet, all right, we've come away with a result. Now, they'll take that to the next game, and they'll probably maybe concentrate just a little bit more and hope that they can turn the corner, because they need to win. That's the problem that they've got. And with the gap that's there, I don't think that they can make up that gap.
As Ian Dark said in commentary, John Gorman's such a nice fella. You'd like to see them do well for John, wouldn't you?
John's a smashing lad, you know, and, you know, he was at Spurs, and then he went to America, and I met him a few times out there when I was playing in America. And he is a great lad, and he believes in his football, and I hope he does keep believing in it and keeps playing the way he is, as long as, you know, the boards stick by him and get around him. And I think it's going to be hard for clubs like Swindon to come up from the First Division now without a lot of money and stay up. It's going to be very, very difficult for them.
Well, our game at Elland Road, our scheduled game at Elland Road tonight didn't make it. Blackburn Rovers didn't make it either. They were due to play Wimbledon, hoping to close the gap on United to 9 points. They did start at Main Road after some discussion pre-match. Ipswich Town were the visitors. Mick McGivern and Brian Horton with David Ellery before the start, checking the pitch. You can see Brian Horton there on the right-hand side, very keen to play it. Game's on, thumbs up. And it was Manchester City that stormed into an early lead on a very difficult playing surface. Inga Britson opening the scoring. And at this stage, Terry, everything going City's way, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you can see by this ball here, the way it holds up in the water. To me, that game should never have been started. You know, the referee at this ground this evening took an early decision and took the right one. You know, that one there, the people are inside the ground. You can see from the start it's not going to get finished.
Well, Blackburn was called off 10 minutes before the start. It is very difficult for referees, isn't it, to make the right decision. You want to get a game on if you can, don't you?
It's always... It reminds me, funnily enough, when I played at Nottingham Forest with Brian Clough, it didn't matter what the conditions were like. He always wanted to play games. He didn't like games being off. I mean, you look there and that's why the goal comes about, because of the conditions. But Brian Clough and managers sometimes put referees under pressure because they want the game on. I mean, you'd think as a manager that you're going to play against a side that may be struggling a bit, then you want to play the game and you want to get it on.
Well, Howard Wilkinson wanted this one on tonight, so much so that he was out with a fork mid-afternoon, but in the end was realistic enough to concede that the game had to be postponed at Elland Road. And eventually here...
Brian Horton must be thinking, you know, they're 2-0 up. You know, there's going to be a result for them. And in the end, the game gets called off. You know, their injuries and the results they've been having, everything's going against them.
This is 39 minutes here, and David Ellery realising after that little piece of circus that the game had to be abandoned. That's what happened. Manchester City leading by 2 goals to 0 at the time. Terry was saying Brian Horton must think the world's against him at the moment. And City were absolutely furious about that decision, coasting at 2-0. Terry Phelan there, you can see, arguing the toss. And then Tony Coton joins in. That's rather more persuasive in his argument, but David Ellery was having none of it. Brian Horton then emerged, pulling players away. There's nothing you can do about it. The game's abandoned. Brian Horton there, as you can see, right in the middle of that melee. And eventually he was appealing to fans to go home, who were more than disappointed that that match was abandoned. Let's go back to Highfield Road and grab a word with the Swindon Town manager, John Gorman, who's with Nick Collins.
Well, John, you just come from the Swindon dressing room. The ghetto blaster is going merrily away. I guess it's fairly happy in there.
Yeah, the atmosphere, like it's been all season, to be honest. People keep wondering why, but we've got a tremendous spirit, and the spirit was shown again tonight. We keep coming back from unbelievable positions. You know, it's not easy. Coventry are a good side now, and they're a team in form. We've just had a bit of a beating from my old friend Glenn Hoddle and his team at Chelsea at home, and we've come here tonight after the same performance we did against Arsenal. We had a bad result against Arsenal. We went to Sheffield Wednesday, another excellent side, and we took the game to them, and we were unlucky not to win the match. Tonight was a great game, I thought. We went again at the end of the game and all out for, you know, to get a result. I felt we were a bit unlucky at times, and so were they. It was an end-to-end stuff. I thought we had quite a bit of good play. Passed the ball well in the first half, like I said to you, at half-time. We were feeling nice and comfortable. They got in behind us a couple of times in the second half. We were disappointed in the goal we lost, although it was a magnificent goal by Roy Wagley. He always scores special goals, and he does it tonight again. It was actually came from our corner. We've nearly scored from Terry Fenwick, and Marsden's, we've done bad there. We've allowed him to get out. He's beat about 2 or 3 players and edged his own box, and then they've broke away from there and scored, which was very disappointing. But at the same time, it showed again the great character that's in the team, that we just keep playing our football right to the end, and we managed to get what we deserved.
Given the result against Chelsea on Saturday, how important was it tonight to make sure you got something?
Well, it's very important, because it's unbelievable how people want to put the knife in the people when they're down. Not the television people, because they've been honest enough when they've come and seen us, but the media and that. Because Swindon's down the bottom, it's like they're going down, they have no chance. We keep playing everywhere we go away from home, we just put in great performances. We've got a little bit to learn sometimes at home. Maybe we're a bit too positive at home, trying to win the match too early in the game, and consequently teams can break against us. Maybe our thinking's got to be a little bit different sometimes at home, but you sometimes play for your fans and want to win the game too early, and consequently we leave ourselves a little bit open at the back. But defensively tonight was excellent, because you know, you're coming away after losing 3 goals and 4 goals and 3 goals at Sheffield, and to be honest, it took a special goal to score the night. He had a great shot in the first half when he hit the bar, but in actual fact we had the best chances. We had a good chance from Andy Much in the second half, and a very good chance from Paul Bowden in the first half.
The $64,000 question: can Swindon stay up?
Well, we believe, as I said to you, we always do believe we can, but we've got to pick up wins. But the good thing is now that 3 away performances, Liverpool, Sheffield Wednesday and Coventry, all teams that are very good sides, and we've went there and had been unlucky not to win on most occasions. I think a draw was possibly a fair result tonight, but at the same time, I thought that the way we played, it gives us a big boost. But well, like the question, sorry, that you asked is, yes, we can stay up. As I said, people keep knocking us, but we've got such a good spirit. We will never lie down, as you've seen tonight.
Wish you luck in '94, John. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. John Gorman and an interested spectator at Highfield Road.